All right, guys, last day of new material. Tomorrow you're going to be reviewing for your test, and then Friday is your test. And I think it might be your last test before spring break. I know it can't get here soon enough. Okay, so today we're going to talk about stretches and compressions, and really all that's changing here with the stretches and compressions is how either wide out your graph is or how like close to the y-axis it is. And all that changes is the slope. So if we look back, let me show you this real quick. So here is the parent function of an absolute value graph. And if you look here, I guess I want to call it the slope. And remember, slope is rise over run. So here the slope is up to every time you land on the actual graph is you go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1 on both sides. So that's what's going to change today is that slope. So if you look here, and really we're just going to look at these examples and then these graphs, and then I'm going to kind of help you out, and we're going to look at a couple of graphs and see. I'm really going to show you really what you're going to be doing today. So this is right here, the parent function, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. This one right here, I'm going to hopefully see if you can see this in yellow. This in yellow here. This is now 1/2 out in front of the absolute value bars and then x. So this means that you have a slope now of 1/2. So notice there's no plus or minus with the x or anything like that. So you're not going to be shifting or moving your vertex. All that's going to change is the slope. So instead of going up 1 over 1, you're going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2 on both sides of the vertex. And then you graph it. Same thing here. Here you have a slope of 2, which again is like 2 over 1. So that means you go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1 on both sides. This one doesn't have any plus or minus going on either. You're also going to start seeing today graphs that are flipped. So the negative means down, and then instead of going up and over, you're going to go down and over. Negative 1/3, so negative 1 over 3 means from the, notice again, no plus or minus. So that means you're going to go down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3. And that helps you to create your graph. So if you take a look at what you're actually going to be doing today, here is an example of an equation that's given to you. This is considered to be like, they call it your A value. I like to think of it as either, they call it A because that's just what they do in the math world. But I also like to think of it as M because basically it's like your slope. So this one has a slope of -2, so -2 over 1. And then how this shifts, so I don't like calling it H and K either because I think that's confusing. So how this moves, so we took care of the -2. If this says x plus 3, and I know you can see the graph right here, but I'm trying to act like you don't see it. If this has an x plus 3 inside the bars, that means that you're going to take your vertex and move it left 3, and then plus 4 outside the bars means that you're moving up 4. So you would take your vertex, which normally would be at 0, 0. You're going to move left 3, up 4. That's how you get your new vertex. Then, I know they have the graph already here, but if you look, the slope is -2 over 1. So from the vertex, you go down 2, right 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, left 1. And that's how they create the graph. So what you're going to have to do today, though, is you're going to have to look at graphs and come up with the actual equation. So what I would do for these, and I'm going to do 2 of them, and hopefully that's enough to help you out, is you're going to have to end up writing your y equals equations, and you're going to need to use 3 things. First thing you need to do is from the vertex, you have to figure out how much does your vertex move, or from 0, 0, how much does your vertex move left or right? So that's the first thing. So step 1, how much does it move left or right? So let's figure this out. So from here we go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So we move 4 right. After that, then you need to figure out how much does it move up or down. And it goes 1, 2, 3 down. After that, once you figured out how much it moves right, left or right, and then up or down, the next thing you need to do is figure out what is the new slope. So you're going to want to go from, start at your vertex and find another good point. So another good point is on your little absolute value graph where your line is crossing through a corner, which is right here. So how do I get from here to here? Now remember, slope is rise over run. So I go up 1, positive direction, and then 1, 2 to the right. So my slope is 1/2. So to write my equation, it's going to be y equals, and then you kind of go from 3, then to 1, then to 2. The slope is whatever is always goes on the outside of the bar. So 1/2 absolute value. And then 4 to the right, remember that goes inside the bars, but because it's to the right, you do the opposite sign of what you would think. And your bars, 3 down means you put -3. And that's your equation for that graph. And that's what you're going to be doing today. You're going to be taking a look at these graphs and figuring out how does it move? Write the equation. How does it move? Write the equation. And you have 9 of them to practice. So hopefully after those 9, it makes sense. You're probably going to have to zoom in on them. So here again, same thing. How does my vertex move? I go 1, 2 to the left. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 up. And then I have to figure out my slope. So I pick this point, and then this is another good point right here. So to get from here to here, I go down 1, right 1. -1 over 1, which I can write -1. If it can be reduced, I definitely would reduce it. So now to write my equation, I do y equals -1 absolute value. 2 left is x plus 2. 4 up is plus 4. Now, you won't ever see them write a -1 out in front. This is the same reason as if you have an x, you won't see a 1 written out in front. Instead of writing a -1, they're just going to put a negative and then absolute value x plus 2 plus 4. So this is how I would prefer it. I think in Go Formative and in Schoology and stuff, this is how it would be graded. So if you do have a -1 out in front or just a -1, please make sure that you get rid of the 1 and just put a negative sign. But like I said, tomorrow we start reviewing for your test. If there's any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, you guys.